Alright guys, another day. Sabbath incoming. Look at the, isn't this going to be nice? They sent it, it's really scuffed up though. Okay, so what I did, I don't know what kind of height I'm going to need, but I'm going to have to frame a base for this thing. So I just brought these from the old base up just to see what would happen. I may be able to just use this. Not have to build anything more. And then I just got back from the store, and so I have to build, this is a one-way valve, okay? So I'll show you how this works. One-way valve, it's got a flap. Can you see that little flap in there? And then when the water goes through it, it opens and then it just closes back up. Okay? So that's how you do your trap for like a super narrow trap. And then we're going to screw one of these guys into the top of that. And then we have to use this converter to go from the 2-inch to the 1.5 inch. Okay? And then I'll need a stubby little piece of 1.5 inches that's, I don't know, 1.25 inches long. So that's basically one. And then this will go on here, on that end. And I got this just cause I don't know if I'm gonna need something before I do this 90. Like, if putting that base down, if I ever wanted to take it out, should I put that in or not? I just got it just to have as an option. And then this is basically my sink drain for the sink. So this will take 1.25 inch drop tube from my sink. This converts it into 1.5 inches. Okay. We're gonna do the same setup here for the sink. Only we're only gonna use this straight piece. So we'll go straight into there. We'll use this straight piece, and then we'll use this, and that will do my my sink trap. In doing it like this, you never have water in your pipes, so nothing will freeze on for an RV in the winter. So that's why you want to do it like that. Okay. And it's going to be really narrow on the ground. So done. We got the right size, everything to do what we need there. And then I wanted to play this thing for you. So let me see. You're kind of like sitting crooked on this. I should probably just have grabbed my tripod, huh? Let me see if I can play this for you. It's probably the beginning. Here, let me try to find it real quick. Okay, I found it. Listen to this.
Tomorrowland is more than a stage, it's more than fireworks, it's more than the artist performing. It's about the vibe and the energy that we carry with our arms wherever we go. Tomorrowland, thank you to the miracle crew that managed to pull this off. I want to take a moment to make the biggest shout out to Tomorrowland, to every single person who made this station. Thanks you guys. Make some noise for Tomorrowland. To be able to Tomorrowland.
Okay, sorry, I had to fast forward. It's at the end of this. So here, listen to this.
Dear people of tomorrow, together we counted down to this moment. For many, a once-in-a-lifetime journey. From every corner of the globe, you came together with one shared destination. Global friendship.
Guys, do you I'm like do you understand? Do you understand what's going on? Like how Team Satan is they cause so much everything in the world that you basically just want to like opt out of the world, and in your spirit you're driven to give me peace, give me friendship, give me, and you have this whole spirit that's like no worries, and you have the brotherhood of man emerging out of the, you know what I mean? But the whole purpose of this is to push Christ out, push God out, replace God with AI. You don't talk to God anymore, you talk to AI. AI gives you your answers, your counsel. You don't go to church anymore. Now it's the church of love, okay? And anyone can express that in any manner that they want to. Everything's accepted. No one judges anyone, okay? The only people who judge people are those evil people who believe in God. If you can't see, like, guys, if you don't know that, like, there's a whole other spirit doing some other stuff, okay? So, and it's like literally speaking like through these words. Listen to the words as if an evil spirit was trying to seduce you, okay? Unity, guys, unity.
We created a story like no other.
Guys, you pull up your phone? I've got an Android phone. What's it say? One UI. What's? Do you understand? Can you imagine? Everybody's like, oh, the devil, and they're going to put this thing in a third temple, and we're going to worship this image. This is the image. The image is of the Spirit. It's in the Spirit. People who act a certain way in the Spirit. There's people who are of a different spirit who act a different way in their spirit because they believe in the Spirit. And then there's everyone else. And everyone else doesn't see anything wrong with this. They're like, good times, good vibes, good vibration. Like, global friendship. Do you understand? And that same spirit that's saying, this might be that same spirit being expressed through techno music in a rave. And in a rave, they might call this, but what are they saying? Even in their saying, they're saying that this is Tomorrowland. Team Satan is creating a Tomorrowland. A spirit. From generation to generation, they're leading you in a destination. Do you understand? Magical. Your energy, your spirit. And everybody's like, how can live today, love tomorrow, unite forever, unite, rise up, Phoenix, rise, Spirit, rise. And everybody's just like, yes, we will worship the image and the beast and the dragon that gave the image to the beast. Yes, we will worship it. We'll worship it in our churches of love and in our raves. We'll worship in the world. It's the spirit of the world. Peace. You know, we got to get rid of all of these evil people who talk about God and judgment and living a certain way and living in faith. We got to get rid of all those people so that we can have peace and we can fully embrace Lucifer. and then you have all the dumb Christians running around like, there's going to be a 3D image and we're going to worship the image and they're going to build it in a third temple. Like, dude, you're looking at the temple. Alright guys, so I plumbed this thing the way it needs to go, and then I put my other pipe that's going to go over to the sink just to kind of get an idea. I'm really glad that this is solid, but even, I mean, I got these pieces as narrow, as small as you can go, and look where we're at here. So I got about a ½ inch there, 3/4 of an inch of flooring, maybe 5/8 or 7/8, and then maybe a ½ inch to the tank. So basically that's where I need to cut my hole at, through the floor. And then it looks like once I drop, and then I'm gonna try to get, and then I'm gonna install the flange and for the tank, and then basically put this thing where it needs to go. And then it looks like this whole contraption that I previously had there will actually work. Since the floor is this high, I'll be able to run this pipe with a 90 and then just hook it up here. So I'm gonna have to heat this back up with the heat gun, slam that thing back down in there. Glad I didn't cut it off all the way flush. Something was telling me not to. So, and then we're gonna have to build, so I'm gonna have to basically cut this hole, do a temporary fit, and see how low I can get this tank, or this floor down. And then when I figure that out, we'll get rid of these walls and we'll make different walls that are shorter, like an inch shorter. Cause I am right, I mean, I am like, my head is right at the ceiling. We're at 7 feet. We're at 7 feet, but we need to get the if I stand, this is my head height. That's like almost where the faucet needs to be, right there. You know what I mean? It may end up being sitting in there. But we need to get this, so basically we need to get this as low as we can possibly get it. I mean, I almost, like this, if you had one right here, that would be at good height when you're standing on the floor. And I'm like, I don't know how you get it 8 inches lower. So, yeah. Every inch here is gonna matter. So, yeah, that's the game plan. Oh gosh. Okay guys, so I'm trying to figure out this shower door. It looks like the rail is gonna have to go on there. It looks like I'm gonna have to build the siding and then the everything right onto here. So I actually want to build this now, like just like it is. This is the shower door, and the bottom sits in this rail and it just pulls open. So it looks like I need to build the end wall flush with the end of this. So figured that out. On this back side, I'm going to have that pull down screen, so it looks like that's got to be recessed into there. Dude, there's a lot of like, I can always cut this down and make it whatever size I need to, but yeah, it looks like it's pretty cool, isn't it? Can't really see through. but it's gonna add light. That'll add light. The fan will work good. So, I think we're doing good here. Anyhow, it would help to have someone else hold it while I stand back and look at it and go, meh, meh. But that's about as good as I can get. So we're gonna figure it out. All right, praise God. Okay, I just figured this out. So the tabs, they've got tabs. Those actually are gonna go on the top. That's gonna hold it from moving back and forth and help it when it opens. And then this bottom one, see how these, they have the holes there? This is gonna sit in there, but that'll allow the water to drain from your curtain back out into your shower thing. That's what's going on there. So this thing's gonna be mounted like so. So just a bead of caulking. So, okay. We got it, we got this. All right, well, I need to do cut the holes, and I need to install this, and then just kind of leave this plumbing just hanging out over here. And we're gonna have to build a wall here. We're gonna have to build a wall there. This wall will be pre-built. We just gotta cut it. So we gotta do the plumbing for that. We gotta do the plumbing for that. Build this wall, build that wall. And that's what we're gonna work on right now. And then once we figure out, once this drops down to where we need to drop it down to, we'll do the final plumbing for this. And then we can build this inner wall. This will be kind of easy, but we'll be able to build this inner wall, that wall, that wall. And then I don't know what I want to do on the outside. I guess we'll just do paneling on the outside of there. And then we'll, that'll tell us where the toilet needs to be, and then I can work on the toilet and getting it in place. At least the cutouts and everything, so that's good to go. And that will probably take most of the day to get that done before Sabbath. But that will be the two main things, and then the kitchen builds off of that. So then it'll be screwing all of these countertops together to make it go where it needs to go, and then kind of temporarily holding it up here to figure out what I want to do with it. And then we'll be installing the stove and the sink and the faucet into there, and then we'll do the framing. Once the framing's done, I have the outline of the framing, then we'll be able to like do the final plumbing. Once I get these walls, I'll be able to do some of the plumbing. Actually, I should probably be able to do most of the plumbing. Anyhow, we're getting closer, but we're getting a lot closer. All right, praise God. Okay, so this is good news that the tank is that much lower than the floor. I can get a couple inches back. So this is the plumbing fitting that you're going to use. So when you do your hole saw's got to be bigger than the whole thing so that this will fit through the floor into the tank. Okay, then you're going to have to go with something like this that's going to be about the size of the inner part of that flange in there into the tank, and then you're going to fit this down into the tank. And it doesn't look like, it looks like this is going to be just a little too small, but it needs to be about an 1/8 inch bigger all the way around, and I don't have anything. I just bought this hole saw kit, and it's just an irregular size. So we might have to just jigsaw around it, or put this down in the hole since this is really close, and then trace on the outside of this, and then cut just like cut the line, cut on the line. Will probably be the best way. I think that's still deep enough I can hit it with the jigsaw. If not, I have a Sawzall, so we can definitely get it with the Sawzall. But that's basically your idea. And then when you get all the way, so your 1.5-inch pipe will sit down in there all the way flush to the end. And that's how it fits into the tank for your gray water. Okay? And then we're gonna set the thing back up here, and then we're gonna measure, you know, down to the floor, get a measurement, and then we'll measure from the floor down to this gasket. We'll get a measurement, cut this piece, just set everything in there, and then measure from the bottom of this deck down, and then whatever that is, we'll build shorter knee walls, like 1.5 inches shorter than this, and that will be what our framing needs to be. But we're gonna drop it as low as we can get it. Okay, broken tools later. All right, there it is, guys. Let me tell you, that was so easy. It was so easy. Not really. Okay. I ended up drilling a long hole with a drill bit, and I started cutting them out with the jigsaw, and then the jigsaw blade wasn't long enough, and it got caught and broke it. So we ended up using just the corner. Guys, this little oscillating plunge tool thing has got me out of so many jams doing like where nothing else will fit to get in there. This thing just always fits. And even if that blade's too big, you can just grind that blade to make it whatever kind of blade you need to make it. Like, so anyhow, we got it. That's in there. So now let's set this here. We'll get a measurement down to the floor of how low we can low it, and then we'll get this pipe cut, get that set in there, and that's already set. So, all right, guys, that's the final right there. Everything works, it fits. This is too high, so unfortunately we can't use those. So we're framing up a new tiny little wall to go underneath this thing. And we're gonna do 2 in the middle, right where you stand. And then we're gonna do 1 along the whole outside. And I know that's a lot of framing, but I don't wanna bust that thing. And then we'll have to frame up the exterior walls. So, a lot of framing. So just split your difference. If you got 4 blocks, it means you have 3 gaps. So measure your board and then divide that board by 3, okay? If you don't know what that is, just put some blocks where like it looks like that, and then measure over to that block and then try to multiply that number by 3. Sometimes that's easier. These marks are right in the middle just because I'm doing a little thing, but if you were gonna like lay out a wall, you put your this is a top plate, bottom plate. You would measure over here. So walls are all on 16, and then you stack your studs and stuff so that your weight bearing goes all the way up through your wall to like headers and all sorts of stuff. So if you were building a wall like in a house or something, you would just hook. You don't want to put it on 16 because then this first one's going to be off. So you're going to want to go, since this is 1.5 inches, you're going to want to go back 3/4. So you go 16 back 3/4, and then that will be your center. And then see how that works. So anyhow, that's how that stuff works. So, 16, back 3/4, make your mark, put your X on that side, and then keep going, okay? So that's what we're doing. We're getting there, and we're gonna see if this little compressor will keep up with that framing gun if I go slow. I always get stuff, so like I have one that will run off of batteries. That's not a big deal. And then I've got another one that's like the normal size one, but that thing is gonna juice. I mean, there's a lot of wattage, and it comes all at once. It's got a big electric motor. So, you know, I gotta run a generator for that. So I always like to have one that I can just, this is a little tiny one that I carry with me in the truck. pump up tires in the truck. Everything else works really good. So we'll see if it'll keep up. Alright, alright, alright. So here, guess what? Did you know that the image, once Team Satan leads one person astray, then he turns him into a god or goddess for others to worship him, so that he is an idol. He is an idol and a spirit to be followed. So if you can understand what do you understand MySpace? MySpace was the first one, okay? Then they did like Facebook, right? Then they created YouTube. Then they created the iPhone. What are you hearing? You're hearing like my, me, I, you. You gotta see things in the spirit, guys. Before, they just made stars, and then you would worship the stars, okay? So that you have your little, everybody's like the groupie, and this is my idol, and this is my favorite artist, and I listen to all their songs, and I know all the lyrics and everything, right? So Team Satan would give you idols and stars, and you would worship them. That's still going on. But the purpose of YouTube, MySpace, these things, like, that is so that everybody can be liked and subscribed to. So they're just taking, like, Team Satan, they're just taking it to, like, an exponential level. And I know most people won't see this, and everybody's out to live their best life and everything, so they're never going to understand anything I'm saying, right? So if God was putting everybody to a test, to see who would actually follow him and not be of that spirit and act that way, would you say that like 99% of people are failing and have no understanding of what that is? Like, you know what I mean? Isn't it bizarre? All right, guys, like and subscribe. I forgot. You got it. Here, I'm going to be the one honest person. Like and subscribe because I get paid. I want money. Make sure you leave a comment because I get money. I'm not even signed up for it, but I mean, I wish people would just be honest. Alright, so I just want you to see this. So this is a typical wall in your house, okay? Do you know how easy it is for me to just take a hammer and whack this and all of this to come apart? Imagine your top wall. Have you ever seen when a storm comes along? It grabs the edge where the wind can and it just rips, and it will peel your whole roof off, and your whole roof will come off. That's because most people frame with these nails. Okay? I mean, at least if they would use ring shanks, it would be better. But screwing it is the pre-drilling and screwing everything. I mean, no one's ever going to build you a house like that. But if you built your own house and you wanted to pre-drill and screw everything, you would have a freaking awesome solid house. And if you have to use nails, at least use ring shanks. They'll at least give it some texture to hold on to. But don't use these. Okay, well, this thing's not doing too bad. So there's our basic frame. And here's where we're going to be standing in the shower like the majority of the time. So, okay. And then as we step over to here, I'll put one there and put one over there. And that'll be a good solid base. This thing is very, very rigid. So that'll be plenty. So I'm doing this, and then the Lord's just speaking to me, and it's just like, so like, I don't know, 1% of you maybe will follow the Father and the regeneration, and the rest won't even understand what the expectation was. So, when he talks about how many people, like, will you love me? Will you seek the kingdom of God above all things? Like, would you actually walk away from your spouse? Would you actually, like, walk away from your children? Would you walk away from your job? would you walk away from your own life and give up your life? Like, the rich young ruler didn't. You know, he's like, I'll just do religion. Religion's fine. I'll just, I'll do all the other stuff that you say, but I won't follow you in faith the way I need to in my spirit. So what I'm trying to say here is, people, he's like, how hardly will a rich man enter into the kingdom of heaven? Like, it's not going to happen. God just basically said it's not going to happen. Okay. And then you would add beautiful woman to that. You're either a rich man or a beautiful woman. Okay. So if you got the male version, you got the female version there too. So, how hardly will a beautiful woman ponder the things of the Father to actually walk in this manner? They'll do religion, they'll do whatever, and they'll ascribe a good name towards God, and they'll do all of the good works, but it's a whole other thing to actually walk in this way in your spirit with the Father because you actually know. I'm telling you about it. Okay? There was no one there to even mention this stuff to me. It was me staring in the scriptures and the Father speaking to me, and me kind of slowly formulating, this is what he's actually saying. And the calling is so completely different. And this is why the spirit of the world is like, me, myself, I, and gods and goddesses, and going along with the spirit in the world. And it doesn't matter what it is. You can do it in the religious, or you can do it in the worldly without God at all. So that spirit is the spirit that's in mankind. So I know mankind has a bunch of beliefs, but mankind doesn't even understand his own spirit. And God came to change the spirit in mankind. Mankind's just full of confusion on all sorts of different levels. So just contemplate that, contemplate that. How few. And if you walked away from everything, what's it like? Peter's like, well, we've given up everything to come and follow you. And it's not like there's a physical Christ running around and we're following him, but it's the Father's Spirit now. And who's actually following the Spirit of the Father? And if the Father is the one who's going to lead you into the kingdom of God, and it's the spiritual matter, how are you going to... Everybody, when you look around, all you see is everybody just ascribing good things and giving God a good name, which, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But when the people look at those people, most people go hypocrites, and they give God a bad name. And in the kingdom of man, he kind of, he judges by the things that he perceives. So he's like, if I'm a good person and I help people and I do, because God says you need to help people and the fatherless and the widow and the orphan, and so he'll pick out all those verses, right? And he'll do all those verses. But if you're like, walk away from everything and follow me in the regeneration. And then man will say, but how am I supposed to survive? Like, how am I going to make money? How am I going to do this? How am I... Like, losing your identity and losing yourself. Like, literally giving up your life. Who will do it? Who will do it? And there's a lot of people who would say, even ascribe that they would do it. But it's a whole other thing to actually do it. Okay? I could say that I'm a professional whatever, you know what I mean? But it's a whole other thing to actually be that, And when you're doing it, it doesn't seem glorious. And suffering for the Father every day while you live in faith to do something, while the rest of no one really understands who you are, or they're not of the Spirit. They don't understand who you are. You're going to live a life where no one understands who you are. You're going to suffer so many things. You're going to choose and make a conscious decision to be last in order to serve the Father. And you're going to wait on a promise for the Father to make you first. Why everyone else that you look around as all running around, graduating college and everyone's coming and giving them gifts. They're getting married and everybody's coming to their wedding. They're having children and everybody's coming to the baby shower. They're raising their children and and you've been in this place with the Father, and no one understands. And it's like you've grown in your spirit with Him, you know, more than the rest of the people in the world have grown up to build lives in the world. They've grown up in the world. They're getting old. They're grandpas, they're grandmas. They've got kids and grandkids, and they've lived and they've snuffed up the world. And all the pleasures of the world, they've snuffed it up and partaken of all of them. Come and let us, come and, you know, we've mingled our offerings. Come and let us make, like, let us take solace and love while the good man is gone on his long journey. And do you think they can perceive what I'm saying? But there will be a handful, like 1% maybe, I don't know, not many, who will be able to understand what I just said there and be instructed in their spirit by the Father. So, praise God for you. Alright guys, so there's the frame. That is what it looks like upside down. Now we just flip it in, put it in, and then we're going to have to build walls. Oh, shoot. I just noticed that it's up a little bit right there. I'm like, why is it up? So that fiberglass thing must not actually be completely flat. Oh, it'll be good enough. Alright, so we're going to flip it over, put it in place, and then we're just going to pop a couple screws in that 2x4 frame so it doesn't move anywhere, and then we're going to build walls up. Okay, so basically our shower base is done. I was planning out the walls, which is good. I found out that it had plastic on it, so actually it's nice and shiny underneath, so that's cool. We put the toilet where it needs to go. We traced all this stuff out. It's been a big pain in the butt. That's cut out. This is cut out. I'm going to solvent weld this to this. Okay. And this ended up, see how it's all like at a different angle? So I cut this at an angle like this. So that will go in just barely in there, and it needs to be 3/8 higher than this to hook up to that ring, and then you tighten down the seat to that ring. So that's the deal. Okay? And then I need to go back to town. I'm going to draw out the rest of these. We're going to put 1x walls here, 1x walls there, and then we need enough to do the framing for, basically I just need to go get a whole bunch of lumber. So, okay, praise God. Alright guys, so guess what? So I come to town and we got a whole bunch of lumber and all this stuff, and then I'm going around. I've like literally brought the I brought the what do you call it, the countertops, a piece of flooring, a piece, like all this stuff, so I can like try to like figure out, all right, let's find, I need a cabinet face front, I need to do cabinet drawers, I need to do, so what am I going to build it out of? What's going to look okay? What's the price? What's the weight, right? I got to figure out all these things. And so I literally go into Menards, and I said to myself, like when we got here, I'm like, you know, they had this really nice shelving stuff that was kind of this like, I'm like, I'd really like to have that in like a 4x8 sheet, you know? So I go in there, I turn the corner, and then I see a I don't know, it's this like IKEA board stuff that's 6 feet tall, 24 inches wide. I need a door, I need a door for my bathroom, and I'm like, ooh, that would be nice. And it's all damaged, like the whole freaking side of it is all like dinged in really bad. And I was just like, I'm gonna ask him, like, it was like $48,
I was like, I'm gonna ask him what I'm like, if I could get this for $30, that would be a good deal, and it'd be a really cool looking door. So I put it on the cart, and then I go over to where, oh dang it, dude, I missed the light. So I'd go over to the like the shelving area where they had those cool shelving boards. And guess what? I turned the corner. There's a 4x8 sheet of that stuff sitting right in the middle of the floor, like a stack of it. That like they hit with the somebody hit it with the forklift and like chipped the corners on it. And I was like, because I only needed 36 inches for my like face, so I wasn't going to use the part that was chipped anyhow. But I'm like, I have no idea how much these sheets are, but I'm like, if I could get another discount off of these sheets. And then I'm like, I walked around everywhere and I couldn't find them anywhere, and I had everything that they had was in 5/8, and this was the only thing in 1/2 inch. So it's going to be a lot less weight, like 10 pounds less, per sheet. And I was just like, so I walked around, finally found the guy, went back and talked to him. He walked over there and looked at it, and he's like, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, if you give me a better price for them, I'll probably just get 2 of them, and if not, I'll probably pass. And then he took $5 off each sheet, and I didn't even need the I'm gonna do the cutouts from the other thing. So basically, I got one sheet that I can build the drawers out of, and I got the other sheet to be a cabinet face front, and then that gives me like a foot off of that sheet that I can do more like side drawer pieces and different stuff. But basically, I got everything that I needed. The guy who totally hooked it up, and in and out of there at Menards to basically do all of the kitchen, like the kitchen like if you can do all of your cabinets and drawers for $232, and all of your framing for your shower and bathroom and a door, and for $232. I'm like, thank you, Father. And I have never seen that stuff ever there before. So it was turned out to be pretty cool. And then I got to give a testimony to the guy that was out in the parking lot. He always sees me and stuff, and he's like, dude, he's like, you are always doing something, like something crazy, like. So I told him the whole deal with the RV and what was going on. So it turned into a testimony for the Lord too. So, and we're doing pretty good on time. 6:30. We're gonna be home before Sabbath. Ooh. Oh no. That guy pulled over, and he was his car was all smoking on fire. I'm like, dude, I don't have my fire extinguisher on me right now. I took everything out of the back. Okay, be prepared. All right, have a good Sabbath, guys.